and we're talking Northern Appalachian Folk Festival. Linda, of course, with downtown Indiana. Good morning. We're on Facebook Live, by the way. Say hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Say hi. Show them the outfit.
Oh.
Show them the outfit. Got to show them the outfit.
So, just work clothes.
There we go. That basically is for you,
Yes,
isn't
at
it?
the museum.
Linda, introduce your guest.
This is Jonathan Bogert from the Indiana County Historical and Genealogical Society. Did I get all the words in the right order?
All the
Thank
words.
you.
There you go.
Helpful.
And Jonathan always dresses in style when he comes
Yes,
to visit Indiana
he's
in the
very
morning.
stylish.
But that's your work attire.
This
isn't
is
it?
the work attire. I have to be able to break away for tours at, the multiple buildings. So.
Terrific stuff. So, Linda, tell me why. Why is Jonathan here with us today?
Well, this year for our Northern Appalachian Folk Festival, which takes place this Saturday, I can't believe it's this close. Our theme is our coal heritage. Last year we explored our lumber heritage a little bit, so we immediately thought of Jonathan when we came up with that theme. We've been meeting with him since early spring, I think.
Quite a while, yes.
And so he's put together some artifacts and other cool things to help us bring that theme alive, and I'll let him talk a little bit more about that.
Jonathan, you even brought visual effects with you today.
Well,
huh?
yes, I heard we were doing the Facebook Live, and I figured, for our viewers on
Sure.
that platform, it would be a nice little extra. So we have a large collection of coal artifacts up at the Historical Society, up at the intersection of 6th Street and Wayne Avenue. And when Linda approached us, we said, well, how can we bring, the coal heritage up to the festival? So we're actually going to be having, I believe, 3 tents up there. That are going to be manned by volunteers from the Historical Society. One of them is actually going to be our mining historian, and we're going to have a lot of artifacts from our collection that are actually going to migrate up to the folk festival for the day, and people are going to be able to interact with our coal historian and ask questions and look at the artifacts and, hopefully spark up a good dialogue about, memories that they have about their parents or grandparents that worked in the coal mines.
One of my first jobs getting out of high school was I was working in a steel processing plant, and I didn't have a lunchbox. Just out of high school, haven't started college yet. I needed a lunchbox. Granddad had worked in the mines, and he said, "Here's mine." It was held together. It was that style of box, but it had holes in it and dings and dents in it, and it was held together by some wires where you had the leather strap on yours. But that was typical, wasn't it?
Yes, and this one is actually one that's in a better shape. I had a couple to select from the collection, and some of them were very worn, just as almost picture perfect to what you described. But this one actually has a lot of the text still intact, and awards were given for safety in the mines. And so that would be something that we're looking to kind of show with this piece.
Yeah, and you have a book in front of you as well.
Well, yes. I brought this up because this is probably one of my favorite artifacts / documents that we have. It's actually a survey book back before we had GPS and a lot of the modern implements that we have. And it's from 1903. So a lot of the intricate handwriting, it's pretty beaten, but this would have been the field book. And let's see if we can find a good page. But a lot of calculations and numbers just for writing down, the lay of the land so that things were properly done.
And people knew how to, without GPS, they knew how to interpret it.
Yes, and I think this may have been before mechanical calculators as well, so imagine that.
I'm pretty certain it was. They were there with their abacus. But it's part of the Northern Appalachian Folk Festival, and Linda, that's just one part of it. It's a big weekend.
Yes. We also have the Penn State Coal and Coke Heritage Center coming. They're going to bring some of their artifacts from Fayette County, so that'll be neat. We have music all day long from 10 o'clock on 2 stages, so free live music. We have 35-plus arts and crafts people and food vendors lining Philadelphia Street in the 500 and 600 block. We have Netflix is coming to town to do an open casting call. That's a little bit different. So they'll be there with their tent, and maybe a star will be born. Maybe Jonathan will be cast in something.
Molly Maguire's, maybe?
Yeah, there you
If you're dressed like that and it's Molly Maguire's, you're running from a crowd at the
Yes.
Well, they'll need extras for the crowd, so maybe they'll be
clubs, torches, and we get to see how fast Jonathan is.
Yeah, so it's just, and we have Children's Alley, which is always, always, always popular at our folk festival. They have lots of fun. Bounce House, that's always a great time for the kids. They have games and activities. So, and they've put together sort of a mining theme where they're going to have a little company store, and the kids can earn some mine dollars and buy, some stickers and different things. So that's always fun. And it's just a good day to come downtown with your family, walk around, listen to music, eat some food, look at the artifacts, and have fun.
That historical aspect of the Northern Appalachian Folk Festival is what really makes it unique, is the fact that you can tie in. Last year, as you mentioned, it was timber, lumber.
Yep.
And this year it's the coal heritage, which built this town, built this county.
Yes, and it's amazing, sort of all the remnants that we still see of that. A lot of the businesses that we work in and the homes that we live in locally are a direct result of that industry.
Yeah, well, you can tell the company towns when you ride through them, can't you? The
Yes.
houses, the houses are all built alike.
Yep.
And that was the way that it was.
Yes, and we will have some photographs as well on top of the artifacts, so people will get to look back to, 1903 Hilewood or, Clymer back when the mining was booming in the town.
Yeah, and some of our older residents will remember what it was like to be a coal miner and to go down into the mines with mules.
Yes. We actually have in Children's Alley, we have the tiny Welsh Shetlands, who are the same kind of ponies they would use to pull the mining carts, and the ladies who handle them from Simple Blessings Farm know quite a bit about that history, and they'll be able to share that with the children as well.
That's kind of interesting because we still see those animals on farms, especially out where I live. And we really don't, we have to be reminded to make that connection. This is what these animals were used for back then. Because you look at them now, you say, well, what good is an animal like that? What's a miniature horse good for? Well, actually, they had quite the role. And quite the role in helping to forge this country. And so that will be something to be really fascinated by.
Yeah, and as I said, the ladies who handle them are quite knowledgeable. They're therapy ponies now, so they have a easier gig than their great-grandparents probably had. So they're really good with the children, and I think little kids like seeing the little tiny ponies.
Yeah, that's what I remember Granddad telling me, because when the animals retired, and they brought them out of the mines and put them in the fields. Some of the bigger ones they would put out in the fields and do farm work.
Yeah.
A lot of times they were blinded they had never been outdoors, and so they couldn't see when they came outside.
Wow.
So that's a part of our heritage here around the area. I'm sure there's a Facebook and a website to help folks learn about the festival.
We have northernappfolkfest.org, which is our website, and we also have a Facebook page if you search Northern Appalachian Folk Festival, and that'll update you on everything that you need to know. And you can also come to the downtownindiana.org site and cross over to those sites as well. Yeah. But it is, I'll read it so I get it right, northernappfolkfest.org.
There you go. Now, streetwise, the logistics of downtown Indiana, how is it going to be set up? What streets are going to be blocked off?
We will be closing Philadelphia Street from the 500 in the 500 and 600 block, so from 5th up to 7th. You will still be able to cross across 7th. North 7th Street will be open, so it should be easy to access the downtown. So those two blocks will be closed along Philadelphia, and then of course the side streets up to the next alley because you can't cross over. Yeah. So from Gompers to Nixon will be closed along those two blocks as well.
And are there any specific things in place to accommodate people who are moving from the historical and genealogical site to downtown? Just watch out on the sidewalks and make sure you don't get hit.
Just be careful. Maybe use some miner's lamps that they can. But I think it's a pretty easy walk. I've walked it. I'm sure Jonathan's walked it, and we think it'll be an easy way. But they'll be set up at the Folk Festival. They'll be in tents at the Folk Festival. Yeah. But we hope that you certainly take the time to go visit them either on Saturday or another day to see their entire collection.
Yeah. Now, Jonathan, I know that you have an ongoing presence at the museum for coal mining and the history of Indiana County. As you've begun to think about this festival and what you'd like to have for people to see there, probably had to make a few choices, didn't you, of some things that will go and some things that people will have to visit to see?
Yes, well, I can tell you right now, some of the items are a little bit heavy to pull from the museum and a little bit large to kind of cart up to the downtown. We actually have a giant medallion that's probably 6 feet in diameter, that solid metal, and it was hung on the side of one of the mining buildings. So we're one of the office areas for it. And so we're not bringing that up. But some of the things we are bringing up is some of the smaller items like the lamps and some samples of coal, along with, some of the smaller things like the lunch boxes, the survey books. And, well, like I said, we'll have plenty of photographs and posters for people to see historic photos of,
Yeah.
of mining towns.
Yeah, and for folks who won't be able to make the festival, they can always go to the museum and they could find them there.
Yes, we're at the intersection of 6th and Wayne, and the museum will be open during the festival. So people, if they want to see more of the collection, they can stop up to the museum.
Terrific. All right. Anything else we need to know here right now, Linda?
Well, I would just say that coal is still an important part of our lives here in Indiana, and we did have some of our coal companies step forward and help sponsor this event. We couldn't have done it without them. So we have Rosebud Mining, who sponsored Children's Alley, Dutch Run Coal, which is another local company, Robindale Energy, and RFI Resources all came forward and helped us support this. When they heard our theme was our coal heritage, they wanted to celebrate that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of interesting because there will be people at the festival who remember their days in the mines that
Yep.
are no longer in the mines, and they'll hearken back to you'll hear the name Florence Mining come
Yep.
up a lot, and R&P Coal, and the various different mining companies, Sonoma Mining, all of those different mining companies down through the years. It's one more chance to shine a light on a great aspect of our heritage.
Yep, absolutely. My dad worked at R&P.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you both for coming in today. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that
Thank you
very,
for
very
having us.
much.
Thanks
Again, the
for letting us
website,
share.
Linda?
Is northernappfolkfest.org. I always forget which word is spelled out and which other ones we abbreviated. So it's Northern App Folk Fest.
And she didn't even need to look at the phone that time to get
Hey,
that
I'm
one right.
I'm getting better. It's
There
my
you go.
ginkgo kicking in.
Is that what it is?
Hey, when you turn 50, you take all the help you can
Yeah.
get.
Once the biloba kicks in, then you're really good.
Look out.
Thank you both for coming in. We appreciate it very, very much. It
Thank
is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160, 101.1 FM.